second stamp in the Black Heritage Series honors Gregory Hines, a versatile performer who danced, acted, and sang on Broadway, television, and in the movies. Gregory Hines developed the entertainment traditions of tap for a younger generation and is credited for renewing interest in tap during the 1990s.
Give it up for Ayodele Cassell, Barbara Duffy, Michelle Dorrance, and Michaela Lehrman. Yeah. Start off with a boom. That was a piece called Boom that Gregory Hines created for the president, for the gala for the president years ago. Thank you to Barbara Duffy for recreating it and putting it on the beautiful four women. Please welcome to the stage, Jason Samuel Smith.
Man, Gregory Hines means so much to tap dance, so much to me, so much to New York. You know, he was a champion for for this art form, but for his community and for his family. I don't know. He represented things that are starting to fade right in front of us. We got to hold on. I've been called a lot of things recently. One of them is an elitist. I just want to see my art form thrive and live and be the best that it can be, just like Greg. And to be honest, sometimes that tough love is necessary. And Greg used to hand some of that tough love out. Best believe it wasn't love 24 hours a day. You know, he kept it real too. He was honest, and he would respect everybody in the room. I'll never forget the first time I got to work with Gregory on Sesame Street. Yeah. Savion was there. Where you at, Save? You was there. And I remember watching Gregory walk on set. And he literally walked around the entire set and shook everyone's hand. Everyone's hand. And that meant so much to me because at that point he was already, a superstar. But for him to be able to be down to earth and still be who he was, that's what made Gregory Hines special. Not because he was just a nice guy, but because he was still one of us. And he represented us. No matter what point he got to, he never forgot the community he came from. Never. He actually went out of his way to celebrate his teachers and his idols. Even if the people didn't know who they were, he would still talk about people like Teddy Hale, Baby Lawrence, Chuck Green, Jimmy Slide, Lon Chaney, Buster Brown. He spoke their names. We got to keep speaking their names too. We can't forget, we come from these people. We come from these masters. The only reason we are here is because of people like Gregory Hines. So every time we lace up the shoes, let's remember that. Not just when it's convenient, not just when we get paid for it, but when we remember why we do this. Let's remember Gregory, because he is that symbol.
Gregory's older brother, who took care of Gregory, who watched every move he made, and he made some moves. He's now kind of like our senior ambassador of the community. We're so proud of him because he's still, I can't believe how svelte he is, and still dancing his heart out. So we have the honor to introduce Maurice Hines and Gregory's daughter, Daria Hines. Please welcome the family to the stage.
I mean, look how handsome he looks on that stamp. Gorgeous. He was beautiful as a baby. He was beautiful as a young man. He's been beautiful all his life. He'll always be beautiful to me. I was looking at the stamp, and because it's red, I love that red jacket. He looks so good in that red jacket. Ooh, he looks good in that red jacket. And I remember the things you remember when you get old. I'm 75 now, so I remember those years. I know I look good. I got it. I remember when he was born. And the things you remember, when you get older. And my mother put him on this bedspread. We lived on 150th Street and Amsterdam Avenue. And she had this bedspread with these little red dots on it, big red dots with gold trim. And she put him on the bed. And she said, "This is your baby, son. This is your baby." And he always was. He always was. Even when we had our problems, and we brothers have their problems, But we'd always come back and say, this ain't right. This ain't right. And I remember the bedspread. I literally adored him. I adored him from the minute he was born, all his life. He was just remarkable as a man. Even when I had difficulties growing up, or he had difficulties, we'd talk about it. We'd talk to each other. We'd say, "Maurice, what's going on?" And I'd say, "Gregory, are you okay?" No matter where we were. So to look at that stamp and see how pretty he looks, and to think about what went through my mind was my mother and father, because they gave us this. They gave us that respect for each other and love for each other. And I'm I have to be, I'm always honest, I'm lonely without him. I'm lonely. I feel lonely. And I've never felt that before. I miss my mother and father. But Gregory and I, we would talk about stuff that only brothers could talk about. Only brothers could talk about and confess things that only brothers would talk about. Things flash through your mind. It's just amazing looking at him up here and loving him the way I do. It'll never leave me. It'll never leave me. I feel, it's what's welling up inside of me is just quite amazing. I didn't know I was going to say all this, but the moment is here, the moment. And I remember when we first started, we were with Henry Latang, the great Henry Latang, the great Henry Latang. And we were in this class with all these other kids, all these other kids. He had a big school for kids. And my mother was there, and we were tapping with all the other kids. And my mother told us this story when we got older. He said, Mrs. Hines, I'd love to teach your two sons alone. She said, alone? What do you mean alone? She said, alone. She said, but why? She said, because they have something very special. She said, well, all the kids are special. She said, oh, yeah, they are. But they have this charisma that when they dance, they look at each other like they're happy to be with each other. And that will go to the audience. The audience will feel that. And the first time we worked the Apollo Theater, the very first time, we were 7 and 5. 7 and 5 years old, and they put us on the amateur night, but they said the people said, well, they're too cute and they'll win because they're cute. And we were. No. Oh, baby, we were cute. But what they didn't realize is that we really could tap. See, so we got on the show. After the amateur night, put us on, and Ruth Brown, the great Ruth Brown, was coming in next week, and she was in the audience. She said, "I tell you what, put him on the show with me next week," and that's really how we started. From Ruth Brown at the Apollo Theater. That's how we started. It really was. Now, my brother was very supportive, He was very supportive as a man and as a brother to me, because when I decided to go to take ballet and take jazz, Gregory said, go on and do that, Maurice. Go on, because I was the shy one. Gregory was very aggressive and very animated, and I was shy. He said, Maurice, do that. That's what you want to do? Then do that, because we lived in Brooklyn and nobody was taking ballet. All the guys was handball, which I played, handball and baseball. And Gregory said, no, go on and take that ballet, Maurice, because you want to do that, And I was shy, and I said, okay, Gregory. He said, because you'll bring that to the dance. You'll teach me how to spin, because he couldn't spin. You'll teach me how to do that, find my center. Is that the phrase you use? Find your center? I said, I don't know, Gregory. I guess it's the right thing to say. And I did. And whenever he would spin, because he was so terrible. But he would get around. He would do 4,
Flip his arm.
He would flip, that's right. He would do Jerry's like, he'd go, and he hit 4. I said, Greg, what you doing them? He said, but I need to find my center. Boy, we can make each other laugh. Greg, I can make Gregory laugh. I would say stuff I didn't even know was funny. And I would make it, he'd get those lines. Remember those lines he had? He had these 3 lines, but he was really laughing. He'd have these lines that I would just love it. I would just love it. I remember one time with my uncles. My uncles were terrible. Terrible guys. They were just terrible. And we'd have big family parties. And whatever Gregory did, I would be laughing. And I would say to the family, isn't he wonderful? Isn't my brother wonderful? And my Uncle Sid said, well, you just think everything he does is wonderful. I said, Uncle Sid, he is. Look at him. Look at my brother. He's beautiful. He's that face, All these memories are coming back. I know I'm talking too long, but it's all these memories are coming back.
Yeah.
You know, because he was so special. He was special. And when he tapped, just gifted. He was gifted. When this is how we learned. Gregory, his mind was so fast because it was his natural gift. God just said, "Bip, you got that. Bop, sit, feet, 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 feet." I mean, God is fierce. He's fierce, you know. Feet, feet, feet. And he could just do it. And he would. This is how we learned. It would take me so long to learn the step. It would take me so long. And Gregory would get it right away. And then he'd teach me. He'd help me learn it. But Gregory's mind was so fast and he could do so many things that when it came time to do it, he would have forgotten it. And Henry knew Gregory would forget it. And then Maurice would remember it because it took me so long to learn it that I would teach him. So that's how we worked together. That's the greatness of what the Hines boys were. Also, he was so versatile. I mean, the voice of life, fabulous voice, just a wonderful voice. We learned to sing. Most people don't, because mother and daddy didn't have money for singing lessons. And because comedically, he just had a gift for it. And I was the straight man, and we just knew how to do that. But when we wanted to sing, because we wanted to grow as performers, we didn't have money. Mother said, "I ain't got no money for no singing lessons, so you got to try to sing along with some records." That's the black woman talking, baby. That's the black woman. So what we did, this is how we learned to sing. We got Johnny Mathis records.
No way.
Yes. And Gregory had a sound similar to Johnny's. Mine was sort of like Billy Eckstine's, and that's why we were able to blend so well together. But Gregory, we played Johnny Mathis record, and we learned how to hold notes, learned how to sing on the top, learned the middle, learned how to phrase, and of course, then Daddy said, "Yeah, all that's good, but get some Nat King Cole records up into here." Learn how to phrase, you know. Gregory and we used to laugh. We used to laugh in our bedrooms. You have no idea. I remember those days. I remember. Now, with Darius standing here, because I could go on forever about my brother. I just could go on forever about him. All the stuff that we did. Gregory was terrible. He would start stuff with people, and when we would go out, he was just. He would get us in all kinds of trouble. But one of the things before she talks, one of the great things in my life, and I could hear his voice right now as I'm standing here. When Dari was born, he came, we were all at the hospital, and we were waiting for Dari to be born. And he went in there, and he was there when she was born, and he ran out. He ran out, and he said, "It's a girl." He wanted a daughter. Everybody said, "Oh, he wants a son." He wanted a daughter. He said, "Maurice, it's a girl, and she's so beautiful. Oh, Maurice, look at He was so happy. I could see his face, his pretty face. I've never seen him that happy. All the great success he had and deserved, I never seen him as happy as he was when this young lady was born. It was a wonderful time for him. It was what he wanted. It was what he wanted. And I have to, before I introduce her, I have to, I know she's standing here, but you know, I'm Maurice Hines. She's very important. I have to say something to the stamp. I said, "Gregory, I loved you when you were born. I loved you all through your life. I will go through to my end of my life loving you. You're the one thing in my life that I've adored from the minute you were born. I'm lonely without you. I don't know how. I really don't know how. I thank God for this stamp so I can buy all them stamps and send and write all them letters. I'm going to write a lot of letters, baby. I'm writing a lot of letters. And I thank you so much for all of you coming here. And now I'm going to introduce the great love of his life, the great love of his life. And that's his daughter, Daria Hines.
I can't see anybody, but I think that rather than tell so many stories that I have as well about my dad, I would really like to thank the United States Postal Service for coming up with this idea. I think he was a nice choice, and I'm very grateful for their honoring his legacy and his contribution to dance. And I think my father left behind a creative history, a Renaissance man. Yeah. He taught himself how to do things. Just like my uncle said, it doesn't have to do with money. It has to do with your passion and your dreams. And you can teach yourself things. You can seek out teachers. Yeah, if you want. They could be on a record that you learn from. So I think that really filled his heart with joy. The fact that he got inspiration as a child, and as Chloe and Maud stated so beautifully, he gave back to young people. It was really important for him to go out and teach young people, to teach master classes. I think we all are teachers in some way or another, and anything you can do to give back in your own little village. His village happened to be a lot of dancers, but we all have a village that we can give back to, and Jason really pointed something strongly out. I'm sorry, my nose is running, I need a tissue. It's emotional. I think he pointed this out as well, that we can't forget that we are in this together, and celebrating artists and people that give us inspiration is what makes this world one of the things so wonderful. Yeah? Okay, and then I would just like to say thank you so much, everyone, for coming here and celebrating my father. Thank you.
And I'm Kristal Hart, reporting from the first day of issue for the Gregory Hines stamp here in New York City. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and thanks for watching.